Of the 8 contestants getting ready for tonight's show, only one of them will be walking away with the prize money of up to £20,000. 7 of them will leave empty-handed, as their teammates vote them the weakest link.
Welcome to the weakest link. Any of the 8 people in the studio here this evening could win up to £20,000. They don't know each other, however. If they want the prize money, they'll have to work as a team. But 7 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
I'm Winston, I'm 39, I'm seeking employment, I come from Spilsby, Lincolnshire.
I'm Maria, 31 years old, a local government officer from Wigan in Lancashire.
I'm Andrew, I'm 37, currently teaching computing in Aberdeen.
I'm Alison, I'm 29 years old and a primary school teacher from Gloucester.
I'm John, 53, a retired public utilities officer from Murfield, West Yorkshire.
I'm Sharon, I'm 29, I'm an educational psychologist from Airdrie in North Lanarkshire.
I'm Paul, I'm 22, and I'm an anthropology graduate from Solihull.
I'm Jenny, I'm 45, I'm a housewife from Rowfant in Sussex.
Now, the rules. In each round, the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £2,500 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 8 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that has been banked can be taken forward. In round 1, there are 2.5 minutes on the clock. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Alison. Let's play the weakest link. The first question is for £50. Start the clock. Alison, what is Popeye the Sailor Man's favourite food?
Spinach.
Correct. John, according to legend, what bee is a household cleaning implement that supposedly enables a witch to fly?
Broomstick.
Correct. Sharon, with which sport would you associate Joe Frazier?
Baseball.
Boxing. Paul, in human biology, what name is given to the ridge patterns on the fingertips?
Pass.
Fingerprints. Jenny, in the animal kingdom, what is the name given to a group of elephants?
Herd.
Correct. Winston, in the nursery rhyme Hickory Dickory Dock, which animal ran up the clock?
Mouse.
Correct. Maria, in pop music, complete the title of this 1989 Phil Collins single, Another Day in what?
Another night.
Paradise. Andrew, which type of meat comes in streaky, smoked and unsmoked varieties?
Bacon.
Correct. Alison, in medicine, what S is a device commonly used by doctors to listen to sounds within the organs of a patient's body?
Stethoscope.
Correct. John, in the
Bank.
children's Mr. Men stories, what colour was Mr. Happy?
Yellow.
Correct. Sharon, in food, what name is given to the sweet yellow crescent-shaped fruit that grows in tropical regions and can be eaten raw?
Bananas.
Correct. Paul, in the TV comedy series Only Fools and Horses, what was Derek Trotter's nickname?
Del Boy.
Correct. Jenny, in clothing, what S is the name given to the pouch worn in front of a Scottish kilt?
Sporran.
Correct. Winston, in humans, the nape is the common term for the back of what part of the body?
Neck.
Correct. Maria, in children's TV, which pink knitted mouse-like aliens communicated in high-pitched whistles and lived under dustbin lids?
Pass.
The Clangers. Andrew, which picture playing card ranks below the king but above the jack in most card games?
Queen.
Correct. Alison, according to the proverb, where there's what, there's brass.
Pass.
Muck. John, with which sport would you associate John Parrott?
Snooker.
Correct. Sharon, traditionally, which festival is celebrated on the 31st of October?
Halloween.
Correct. Paul, complete the title of the following American TV comedy series, Mork and Who?
Mindy.
Correct. Jenny,
Bang.
what A is a puzzle whereby letters of a word are rearranged to form a new word or phrase?
Pass.
Anagram. Winston, in maths, add the number of legs on a spider to the number of signs of the zodiac.
20.
Correct. Maria, in food, haricot, runner and broad are all types of what?
Bean.
Correct. Andrew, what's
Fine.
the name of the pastime in which engraved designs on brasses are transferred onto paper using coloured wax?
Brass Robbings.
Correct, Alison. Complete the title of this children's story by Hans Christian Andersen, The Ugly What?
Duckling.
Correct, John. What the... Time's up. You've banked £1,400 when in fact you could have banked £2,500. Not everybody is firing on all cylinders. Whose brain would be no use to medical science? Who's going down faster than a broken lift? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The strongest link is John, according to the statistics. The weakest link is Maria, who answered 2 questions incorrectly. But at this early stage of the game, will the others have noticed?
OK, voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Sharon.
Jenny.
Jenny.
Maria.
Paul.
Jenny.
Maria.
Maria.
We have a tie. Maria and Jenny, 3 votes each. Jenny, what do you do?
I'm a housewife.
Got any qualifications?
Yes, I have a degree.
In?
Media studies.
You thought of asking for your money back?
I have indeed, yes.
Never heard of an anagram?
I have, but not as a puzzle.
Why Maria?
She got one more wrong than me.
Maria, what do you do?
I'm a local government officer.
What does that mean?
I work for the education department.
Do you? And you've never heard of the clangers?
Haven't. Before my time, man.
I would have thought you'd drop plenty every day. Had enough of Jenny?
The question she got wrong stuck in my mind more than anyone else.
You knew that one, did you?
I did.
Right, well, when the vote is tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. John, you were the strongest link. You haven't voted for either Maria or Jenny, but you now have to decide who would you like to get rid of, Jenny or Maria?
Maria, I'm sorry.
There's no need for niceties here. Why do you want to get rid of Maria?
It sounds that she was the weakest link, so...
I banked the most money.
You did bank the most money. Nevertheless, there was no one else who managed to get 2 questions wrong. So statistically, you were the worst player, Maria. Have you understood that?
Uh-huh.
Will everyone at the education department in Wigan
They will.
understand that? Good. And you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I am upset that I've been voted off first. I knew I would be. It was a decision left to John because he was the strongest link. I don't think that he actually realised I'd banked the most money, and I'm gutted, actually.
Right, team, you've won £1,400 so far out of a possible £2,500. There are 7 of you left. You've lost Maria, who works in education but could only answer 1 question correctly. But the good news is you've still got Jenny, who's got a degree in media studies and has never heard of an anagram. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's you, John. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. John, the dog and burnet, a species of which sweet-scented British wildflower?
Pass.
Rose. Sharon, in film, what's seen as a small but significant role often played by a famous actor?
Cameo.
Correct. Paul. In pop music, which band won a Brit Award in 1996 for the album What's the Story, Morning Glory?
Oasis.
Correct. Jenny. In nature, what colour is a starling's egg, blue or white?
Blue.
Correct. Winston, which Welsh actress starred in the films The Mask of Zorro and Entrapment?
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Correct. Andrew.
Fine.
The TV medical drama Holby City is a spin-off from which long-running series?
Pass.
Casualty. Alison, what S is a material used in footwear and clothing produced by buffing the flesh side of a tanned animal hide?
Don't know, pass.
Suede. John, which board game similar to Draft shares its name with a tragic Shakespearean character?
Checkers.
Othello. Sharon, in the human body, which pair of organs in the chest carry out respiration?
Lungs.
Correct. Paul, complete the title of this 1993 film starring Robert Redford and Demi Moore, Indecent What?
Proposal.
Correct. Jenny, in
Bang.
theatre, does an epilogue come at the beginning or end of a play?
Beginning.
End. Winston, what P derived from German describes an invisible spirit which makes its presence known by noise or the movement of objects?
Poltergeist.
Correct, Andrew. On a paper round, a boy delivers papers to 50 houses an hour. How many houses does he deliver to in his 2.5-hour shift?
15 an hour, you said.
On a paper round, a boy delivers papers to 50 houses an hour. How many houses does he
125.
Correct, Alison.
Bank.
Complete the title of the 1994 film starring Jim Carrey, Dumb and What?
Dumber.
Correct, John. In TV, which BBC science fiction series featured sea devils and giant maggots?
Pass.
Doctor Who, Sharon. In UK custom, by what other name is a beefeater known?
I can't remember.
Yeoman of the Guard. Paul, in science, is a cathode a negative or a positive electrode?
Positive.
Negative. Jenny, what M is a type of sculpture that has suspended elements, or is it self-suspended so that it may move?
Pass.
Mobile. Winston, in the military, the initials RM stand for what?
Royal Marines.
Correct, Andrew. In
Bank.
politics, the four founders of the SDP were originally members of which party?
Labour Party.
Correct, Alison. What
Bank.
O is an Annie? Time's up, and what a disaster. In that round, you won only £800. Who's turned into the Frank Spencer of the team? Who's too stupid to stay? Remember, you need to be ruthless to get rich. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Winston answered all of his questions correctly, making him the strongest link. But in a reversal of fortune, John answered all of his incorrectly, making him the weakest link. But who will lose out in the vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
John.
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 Jenny.
John.
Andrew.
Alison.
Winston, how's it going for you?
Brilliant.
Is it? Why John?
He didn't get any questions right.
Andrew. Never heard of Holby City?
Let's just say I'm a casualty of that particular programme.
Is that meant to be funny?
I'm not too sure.
Why John?
Well, put it this way, I'm with Rolf Harris in this one. You see an animal in distress, you put it down. It's time for John to be put to sleep.
What do you do, Alison?
I'm a teacher.
Are you? What sort of teacher?
Primary school.
Right. How old are the children you teach?
10 and 11.
God help them. Why John?
I think I was just very conscious because he came after me. That he
But
got all
not
of his
conscious
questions
enough
wrong.
to know what suede was.
No.
John, you were the strongest link in the last round. And suddenly you left for West Yorkshire,
Yes.
did you?
Frank Spencer from now on.
Yeah. Well, no now on for you, John. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'll go home very disappointed. I'll get tremendous stick when I get home and in the pub. Because I play in the quiz league, so all the other lads in the team are going to give me a right tasty. I think Jenny will be voted off next. After me, I think she's got the most questions though.
So far, team, you've banked £2,200 out of a possible 5,000. You're down to 6 players. We're taking another 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Winston. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Winston, which major city is served by an airport with the location code SYD?
New York.
Sydney. Andrew, in UK geography, what T is the chief river in the Midlands?
The Trent.
Correct. Alison, what is the common name for the blood-sucking insects that infest houses and particularly beds?
Mites.
Bed bugs. Sharon, in politics, what E is the process of appointing someone to public office by voting?
Election.
Correct. Paul, in clothing, over what part of the body is a yashmak worn?
Over your neck.
Face. Jenny, in nature, does the pistil of a flower bear seeds or pollen?
Seeds.
Correct. Winston, in the animal kingdom, what name is given to the young of a zebra?
Pass.
Foal. Andrew, in geography, Gouda is a town in which European country?
The Netherlands.
Correct. Alison, in music, if a person is described as singing flat, are they singing higher or lower than the required pitch?
Lower.
Correct. Sharon, in TV, Sid Snot was a character created by which controversial DJ and comedian?
Kenny Everett.
Correct. Paul, in history, who was crowned Emperor of France in 1804?
Napoleon.
Correct. Jenny,
Bank.
are the Abbey Gardens in Tresco situated on the Channel Islands or the Isles of Scilly?
The Isles of Scilly.
Correct. Winston, in fashion, what T is a person who makes, repairs and alters clothing?
Taylor.
Correct. Andrew, in
Bank.
sport, which male British tennis player became the national junior champion in 1992?
Tim Henman.
Correct. Alison, in theatre, which British dramatist wrote the play Fanny's First Play in 1911? George Bernard Shaw or George Orwell?
George Bernard Shaw.
Correct. Sharon,
Bank.
which state leads the American nation in the production of citrus fruits?
Florida.
Correct. Paul, in history, the 1773 American protest against the British tax on tea is commonly known as what?
The Boston Uprising.
The Boston Tea Party. Jenny, the downhill Super G and giant slalom World Cup are competitions in which winter sport?
Winter Olympics.
Skiing. Winston, in human biology, which organ do the coronary arteries supply with blood?
Pass.
Heart. Andrew, in UK geography, what W is a city on the River Severn?
Winchester.
Worcester. Alison, in biology, what name is given to the early stage in the development of an animal after fertilisation of an ovum and before birth?
Embryo.
That is the correct answer. And after all that work, team, you banked a pathetic £450. I urge you, ditch the ditherer, sling off the slow coach, eject the idiot. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Sharon is now the strongest player. Winston has gone from strongest link to weakest link. But will his earlier performance be enough to save him?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Paul.
Paul.
Winston.
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 Sharon, what do you do?
I'm an educational psychologist.
Are you? I
Yes.
suppose you got a degree in that, have you?
A master's, yeah.
A master's, right. And how do you explain the psychology of everyone from Alison onwards voting for Winston?
I think Winston's luck has run out.
Right. Paul, what do you do?
Well, I teach English part-time.
Do you? Why Winston?
I think Winston got all his questions wrong.
Well, he didn't, actually. He got just one more wrong than you did. Winston, where'd you come from?
Spilsby.
Spilsby? Well, you're going back there now. You are the weakest link, Brian.
I expected to go out first round and I did brilliant. Answering 7 in a row, I was really shocked. Pleased and shocked, but disappointed. I should have really carried on following rounds and I really should have won this. I've let myself down really on that last round. It's fine at home, but in the studio, it is terrifying.
Right, team, so far you've bagged £2,650. There are 5 of you left. You've got rid of 3 weak links. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. You now have only 2 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Sharon. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Sharon, which city founded a university first, Oxford or Paris?
Oxford.
Paris. Paul, which 1970s UK TV sitcom features the characters Mr. La-di-da, Gunnar Graham and Gloria?
Pass.
It Ain't Half Hot, Mum. Jenny, which country did the Beatles visit for the first time in 1964?
Japan.
United States. Andrew, in music, which member of the Sex Pistols went on to form Public Image Limited?
Johnny Rotten.
Correct. Alison, in
Bank.
politics, what E is a government-imposed suspension of trade with another country?
Pass.
Embargo. Sharon, Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman to go where in 1963?
United States.
Space. Paul, in history, what M was the name given to the heavy flat stones used to grind grain to a powder?
Mortar.
Millstone. Jenny, in science, does a convex surface curve inwards or outwards?
Outwards.
Correct. Andrew, in pop music, which 1980s band with a fruity name comprised Karen Woodward, Sarah Dallin and Siobhan Fahey?
Bananarama.
Correct, Alison. In economics, the difference between a country's income and its expenditure abroad is known as the balance of what?
Pass.
Payments. Sharon, in geography, what area is the largest country in Central America?
Namibia.
Nicaragua. Paul, Donna Reed appeared opposite which actor in the 1946 film It's a Wonderful Life?
James Stewart.
Correct. Jenny, in theatre, what is the surname of Sir Cameron, the British producer born in 1946?
Macintosh.
Correct, Andrew. The
Fine.
Cree are a native Indian people of which country?
The United States of America.
Canada. Alison, with which religion is the Tripitaka scripture associated?
Judaism.
Buddhism. Sharon, in the UK, is Torbay a district in Devon, Cornwall or Somerset?
Cornwall.
Devon. Paul, what term referring to the peace and love hippie movement was coined by Allen Ginsberg in 1965?
Flower power.
Correct. Jenny, in literature, which author wrote the James Bond spy thrillers?
Ian Fleming.
Correct, Andrew. You bagged just in time, which is merciful, Andrew, because it allowed your winnings to get up to a still pitiful £350. Who forgot to visit the Fountain of Knowledge on the way here tonight? Who's several seats short of a coachload? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
As the only player to answer 3 questions correctly, Jenny is the strongest link. In another reversal of fortune, Sharon has gone from strongest link to weakest link. But will the voting follow the facts?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Sharon.
Sharon.
Alison.
Alison.
Paul. We have a tie, Alison and Sharon, 2 votes each. Alison, you teach 10 and 11-year-olds.
Yes.
That must be a dreadful worry for their parents. Never heard of the balance of payments?
I had. I just completely panicked and passed.
Why Sharon?
Well, I know I had an appalling round, but the First Lady in Space question stuck in my head.
Yeah. Sharon. It's interesting, isn't it, that you should think that the First Lady ever to visit the United States went there in 1963. How do you think the men got on before that, Sharon?
Believe it or not, I was thinking about dissidents.
Why, Alison? What could she have possibly done that was worse than you?
She didn't give me any money to bank.
Right. Well, Jenny, when the vote is tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. Now, you voted for Paul, and that is not relevant. So would you like to get rid of Alison or Sharon?
Sharon.
Why is that, Jenny?
I feel she might be more competition later on.
You do? Difficult, but we have to bear in mind you've got a degree in media studies, but she didn't actually get any questions right at all, and she thought the first woman to visit America went there in 1963. But if you feel she's competition, that's up to you. Sharon, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
The question that's going to haunt me for the rest of my life is the question about the first woman in space. I'm going to be given a lot of grief about that from family and friends, and I'm really embarrassed that I said that on TV. I would least like Andrew to win because he thinks he's funny, and he's quite clearly not funny.
Right, team, we struggle on. Your total so far is £3,000. There are 4 of you left. Another 10 seconds coming off the time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Jenny. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Jenny, which is a city in North Wales that has an ancient cathedral holding the tombs of Welsh princes?
Pass.
Bangor. Andrew, in maths, how long would it take to travel 18 miles at 6 miles an hour?
3 hours.
Correct. Alison, in geography, which country on the Baltic Sea lies between Sweden and Russia?
Norway.
Finland. Paul, in food, what tea is a traditional Indian clay oven?
Pass.
Tandoor. Jenny, in football, Alf Ramsey managed which country at international level?
England.
Correct. Andrew, in the USA, is it the northern or southern states that are known as the Dixie States?
Southern states.
Correct. Alison, in art, by what first name was the French post-impressionist painter Gauguin known?
Franz.
Paul. Paul, in the animal kingdom, which species of kangaroo is the largest living marsupial, red or grey?
Red.
Correct. Jenny, what V is the name of a group of Caribbean islands belonging to the British Commonwealth?
Pass.
Virgin. Andrew, which American singer and songwriter was born Barry Pincus in New York in 1946?
Barry White.
Barry Manilow. Alison, in history, which King Edward was Queen Victoria's eldest son?
7th.
Correct. Paul, is the character of Agamemnon from Greek or Roman mythology?
Greek.
Correct. Jenny, in film, Oliver Reed's final role was in which Hollywood blockbuster?
Gladiator.
Correct. Andrew, in geography, on which continent would you find the Andes mountain range?
South America.
Correct. Alison, in
Bank.
modern history, against whom did Michael Dukakis campaign unsuccessfully in the 1988 American presidential race?
Gore.
George Bush. Paul, in 1906, the international distress signal was created, composed of which 3 letters?
SOS.
Correct. Jenny, born Vera Jane Palmer, which blonde American film actress starred in the 1956 film The Girl Can't Help It?
Marilyn. Pass.
Jane Mansfield. Andrew, in biology, what M is the most abundant tissue in the human body?
Muscle.
Correct. Time's up, and in that round, you banked £250. Now, I've hardly any need to tell you that it's getting desperate. Kindness and charity there is no time for. Which member of the team, perhaps, is educated beyond their intelligence? Who might you be better off without? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The statistics show that Andrew is the strongest link. Alison is the weakest link, as she only managed to answer 1 question correctly. But how will the voting go?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Alison.
Paul.
Alison.
Alison.
Andrew, you thought Barry White was born in New York in 1946, did you?
It was a guess.
Why Alison?
I think Alison had a sort of unrepresentative round. I think she's been doing great. She's been banking, she's been answering questions, and she just didn't have as good a round as she normally had.
Jenny, how's it going for you?
Clinging on with my fingernails.
Right, and you've had enough of Alison?
I have, I'm afraid.
Right. Well, Alison, fashion, nature, politics, economics, religion, art, history, geography, those are just a few of the subjects, impressively, you know absolutely nothing about. 3 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I'm relieved. Things were getting quite intense out there. The team were uptight. We were banking early. I didn't like the feel. I'm glad to be off. I was the weakest and I deserved it.
Right, so far you've banked £3,250 out of a possible 12,500. 3 of you left another 10 seconds off the clock, and we start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Andrew. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Andrew, in film, with which robot character is English actor Anthony Daniels most commonly associated?
C-3PO.
Correct. Paul, which country does Arsenal's midfield player Patrick Vieira represent at football?
France.
Correct. Jenny,
Bank.
in the animal kingdom, seal point, chocolate point and lilac point are different breeds of which species of cat?
Siamese.
Correct. Andrew, in music, which US boy band had a UK #1 hit in 1990 with Hangin' Tough?
Backstreet Boys.
New Kids on the Block. Paul, which child's form of transport recently popular with adults was invented by 15-year-old London schoolboy Walter Lyons in 1897?
Pass.
Scooter. Jenny, in which year of the 90s did the German tennis player Steffi Graf retire?
1998.
1999. Andrew, which mathematical symbol was invented by the 16th century British mathematician Robert Recorde? The equal sign or the plus sign?
Equals.
Correct. Paul, in
Bank.
the periodic table, which element has the chemical symbol Na?
Pass.
Sodium. Jenny, in music, which double-reeded woodwind instrument used to be known as a hautboy?
Clarinet.
Oboe. Andrew, in biology, is an endoskeleton an internal or external skeleton?
It's internal.
Correct. Paul, in football, for which Premiership team did Roy Keane play at the beginning of 2001?
Man United.
Correct. Jenny.
Bang.
What name was given to the 1926 stoppage in which the railway, dock and power workers were all called out by the Trade Union Congress?
The General Strike.
Correct. Andrew,
Bank.
complete the title of this Margaret Atwood novel, The Edible What?
Woman.
Correct. Paul, in geography,
Bank.
which island is closest to the city of Miami, Cuba or Jamaica?
Cuba.
Correct. Jenny.
Bank.
In modern history... Time's up. You banked £400. Now, let me explain that in round 7 you get the chance to double what you bank, and that means in the next round, potentially there's £5,000 to be won. The question is, who needs to go? Who is least likely to raise that rather pathetic bank balance? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Andrew is the strongest link for a second time. The statistics show that Jenny is the weakest link. But at this crucial stage of the game, who will lose out in the vote?
Voting over, it's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Paul.
Andrew.
Paul. Andrew, it's an interesting choice.
I think you'll find that it had a 50% chance of being Paul. And given the fact that I think both Paul and Jenny answered the same number of questions incorrectly, I feel Jenny redeemed herself by banking more money.
Jenny, why Paul?
I thought he was weaker than Andrew then.
Right. You were the worst player.
I probably was.
Yeah. But it's votes that count. Paul, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think there was tactics going on in that round. I know I was using tactics. I think Andrew was definitely going to be competition. That's why I voted for him. And I was quite surprised when Jenny voted for me because I was the strongest link. But tactics, that was the name of the day. Jenny's a really nice lady. I think Andrew, though, is the strongest out of the two. And purely on that, I think Andrew will win.
You have £3,650 in the bank. If you'd stayed awake, you could have won by now £15,000. Andrew and Jenny, just the two of you left, and you have 90 seconds. But whatever you win in this round will be doubled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. So £5,000 is at stake in this round. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Andrew. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Andrew, in which century did the naturalist Charles Darwin live?
The 19th century.
Correct. Jenny, in maths, if a packet of crisps that cost 5 pence 10 years ago now costs 50 pence, how many times more expensive is it?
100%.
10. Andrew, which D.H. Lawrence novel was banned because it was considered to be obscene, The Rainbow or Women in Love?
Women in Love.
The Rainbow. Jenny, kerosene is turned into fuel for which type of transport?
Pass.
Aeroplanes. Andrew, which county's tourist attractions include Woburn Abbey and Whipsnade Zoo?
No idea.
Bedfordshire. Jenny, with which profession would you associate Gloria Swanson?
Acting.
Correct. Andrew, in pop music, which boy band featured Lee, Jimmy and Spike and is also the emergency phone number in the United States?
911.
Correct. Jenny, the Titanic set sail from which English port on her maiden voyage?
Southampton.
Correct. Andrew, in religion, in which century was the Cardinal Basil Hume the Archbishop of Westminster?
20th century.
Correct. Jenny, the Atlantic Star and the Burma Star are types of what World War II collectibles?
Tags.
Medals. Andrew, which member of the Osmond family became Michael Jackson's business advisor in 1987?
Donny Osmond.
Ginny Osmond. Jenny, which Scottish town was granted city status in December 2000?
Edinburgh.
Inverness. Andrew, Rosie Boycott resigned as editor of which English newspaper in January 2001?
Daily Express.
Correct. Jenny, in which century did the Glorious Revolution take place, overthrowing King James II of England? 17th or 18th?
18th.
Time's up. The correct answer is the 17th. You certainly didn't manage to win the £5,000. You won only £200. Never mind, we'll double that and add it to the winnings from the previous rounds, and that means total prize money this evening of £4,050. But of course, only one of you can take that money away. So now you will be playing against each other head to head. I'll ask alternate questions, best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It's as simple as that. If there's a tie after 5, we'll go for sudden death until we have a winner. So, Andrew and Jenny, for £4,050, let's play the weakest link. Andrew, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I think I'll go first, please.
Andrew, in geography, in which mountain range is the source of the River Rhone?
Is it the Alps?
That is the correct answer. Jenny, in Charles Dickens' novel Oliver Twist, what was the name of Bill Sikes' dog?
Jacko?
The correct answer is Bullseye.
That's it.
Andrew, in the UK TV sitcom Absolutely Fabulous, what was the character name of Adina's daughter?
It's gone completely.
No, the correct answer is Saffron. Jenny, in music, which school choir had a UK #1 in 1980 with There's No One Quite Like Grandma?
I've no idea.
The correct answer is St Winifred's School Choir. Andrew, what